Now, top story, the blind-eyed New York turn to Andrew Cuomo's toxic behavior may soon be on a long, lazy shift toward justice. As the nation's top media outlets have called for his resignation, Governor Cuomo took a break from co-opting his family members' assault stories to release this statement.
Indeed, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of photos of me using the exact same gesture. I do it with everyone, black and white, young and old.
In Cuomo's defense, he's from a different era when this stuff was still terrible, but there weren't ever repercussions. Peter, your new book is about Osama Bin Laden. I mean, say what you will about the guy, at least he knew how to keep his hands to himself.
Well, I mean, I think the fact that President Biden is calling for his to resign is sort of speaks for itself. And if he doesn't resign, he's going to face impeachment proceedings, almost certainly. In the state of New York, and it seems that there would be the votes to remove him from office. So he either has to go soon or later, but he will be going.
Unless my calculations are wrong, we've got less than 24 hours until the RNC comes to Cuomo's defense.
I should note that my old piano teacher, Mrs. Marquand, is eerily silent on calling for Cuomo's resignation. Weird considering she held me to an impossible standard of excellence, not that I care. Moving on, Peter, your new book, The Rise and Fall of Osama Bin Laden, is in stores now and being held as the definitive account of the man who's been notoriously reclusive after dying in 2011. Now, you actually interviewed Bin Laden in person. Here's the photo. We'll put that on our website for all you kids out there looking for iPhone wallpaper. Now, why release a book about Bin Laden now, considering he appears tame compared to today's Republican Party?
You know, it's the 20th anniversary of 9/11. It's a time to look back.
The big
2-0. I'm teaching students at Arizona State University who weren't born on 9/11. Folks are volunteering to serve in the U.S. military who weren't born on 9/11. So I thought it was time to, kind of write a reassessment.
You know, I find it fascinating, too. I mean, with 5 wives, 24 kids, and a thriving global organization, I wish I could ask the guy about work-life balance.
We apologize for him. Now, as a trusted news source, it is our solemn responsibility to hear both sides of every story with no judgment whatsoever. In that spirit, joining us now is Jusstine Kenzer of PsychicGirl.com. Thank you so much for joining us, Jusstine.
Thank you for having me.
Now, our understanding is that you can make contact with the deceased Osama Bin Laden. Can we ask him if he thinks Peter Bergen offered a fair assessment of his rise and fall?
Immediately, he's saying no.
He did not like it. And what was his problem with it? Where does he think he got it wrong?
Well, when I tune into this person, Osama Bin Laden, I'm not seeing the most mentally balanced person.
I think you got the wrong guy.
It seems that he's very defensive of anything that anyone has to say about him.
Yeah, so Peter, just try to remain calm. Obviously, this must be tough to hear to get this sort of feedback. Though this is fascinating. You got the chance to go through his personal effects, and he had hair dye in them just for men. What was going on there? Was he going through some kind of midlife crisis?
Yeah, I think he was 54 when he was killed. So, and he certainly looked a lot older than that. He had 3 wives living with him. He wanted to look, young. He was recording videotapes occasionally. He certainly wanted to look younger than his actual years.
He's just shaking his head here and saying this is not true. So he's denying it. He's denying and not even admitted that was something that could be found.
Interesting. Now, Jusstine, mind sticking around. We'd love to get your and Osama's thoughts on some other topics. Is that okay?
Of course.
It's okay with Bin Laden as well?
He's saying it's never going to be okay. But listen, again, we're dealing with someone who's not that balanced. So whether he likes it or not, we're going to look.
He's got issues, that's for sure. Now, moving on, as President Biden continues to push local governments to adopt COVID vaccine mandates, he saluted the mega corporations whose models show consumer death threatens the solvency of our global capitalistic hamburger orgy.
In the past several days, states and local officials have come out to impose similar vaccination mandates. And the private sector is stepping up as well. Even Fox has vaccination requirements. I want to thank Walmart, Google, Netflix, Disney, Tyson Foods for the recent actions requiring vaccination for employees.
Now that is high praise for the organizations that could end poverty if they felt like it. Peter, the defense secretary is considering recommending that Biden mandate vaccines for the military. Should Biden order the troops to be vaccinated, or is America's current hoarding of the vaccine already accomplishing our foreign policy goals?
Well, James, I think he definitely should make the order. When American troops deploy overseas to countries like Afghanistan, they have to take hepatitis vaccinations, typhoid, a whole raft of vaccinations. There's simply no reason why the commander-in-chief can't order American troops to do something for their own health.
America's public health crisis will definitely end soon, now that it's in the hands of 19-year-old restaurant hostesses.
Oh, for sure.
The reason for vaccine hesitancy, I think, may be the needle itself. Fear of syringes is a big part of being a toddler, the stage of life most vaccine-hesitant Republicans live their entire lives.
Coming to you, Jusstine. A lot of Americans can't take days off to receive and recover from the vaccine. Would Osama Bin Laden give al-Qaeda members paid time off to get the shot?
That would be a no.
That would be a no. Wow.
And he's actually saying he doesn't believe in the shot. That's not coming from me directly. That's coming from him. His response is, I don't believe in the shot.
And when he believes something, he's obviously very passionate about it.
Yep.
And some would say takes it way too far. Now, moving on, the CDC issued a new 60-day eviction moratorium for parts of the U.S. where coronavirus continues to surge in an effort to help desperate Americans die with a roof over their head. Here's Democratic Congresswoman whom Nancy Pelosi is right now begging Tom Hanks to run against, Cori Bush.
So let's be clear. Activists are in Congress. So expect for things to be different than what maybe people are used to.
Now, Peter, how much political danger is Cori Bush exposing herself to by so flagrantly bucking her party in favor of her constituents?
I really don't know. So sort of outside my area of expertise, James.
Peter's stumped. Does Osama want to jump in here?
Her energy here, I mean, is such conviction, and but when I look at him, he's just again shaking his head. You know, if it's not involving him, it's not a truth to him.
Well, thanks to Bin Laden for doing his homework, unlike some people.
Now, even though this is only 60 days, I'm sure congressmen are busy thinking of long-term solutions while on their real estate lobbyist-sponsored Dubai shopping spree.
And Peter, just to check in here, do you think this interview is going better or worse than the one you had with Osama Bin Laden?
Well, yeah, one thing, you remind me slightly of him.
And okay, please elaborate. I would love to hear this.
Well, your sense of humor, your just general approach to life.
You hear that, Austin? I have a good sense of humor.